Welcome back. Yep, that's right. It's another edition of the Advantage Line, your one-stop shop for all things NRL and Rugby League. Once again, I'm joined in studio by Carl Tiley. Carl, you've been knocked out.
The Warriors have been knocked out.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've been knocked out, but
well, same thing.
Probably deserve it.
We'll get to that.
But yeah, tough old night on Saturday.
Yeah, I hear you.
But yeah, we'll get we'll get to that.
Yeah, we've got a couple of boys who had a tough night on Saturday night as well. All the way up at Papamoa, not too far from the beach. Our good friend Blake Ashford. Blake, how are you doing?
I'm fine today, mate. Today, about 4 or 5 days clear. Sober for 5 days. It's 4 days. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, I don't know what Blake's definition of sober is, but he has not been sober for 4 days. I'll give it that. Another one who probably hasn't been sober for 4 days, our good friend Ben Seal from Surly Talk Sports. Surly, how are you?
Yeah, good. Sunday wasn't as tip-top as you'd hope, but Monday Arvo started to come right. So, yeah, the trajectory's looking up, ready for the weekend again. 6 more.
Oh, speaking of trajectory, we're into the first week of the finals.
Good segue. Well done.
Gee, it was a tough crowd today.
Oh, that was good.
That's why you get the big bucks.
If only, Surly. If only. Yeah, there you go. I guess we'll get to the games soon, but let's look back at a few things that happened last week. And let's look at that game at Mount Smart Stadium on late Saturday afternoon, where the Warriors got out to a nice lead. They were cruising, to be fair, looking okay. A bit of rain came in.
They weren't looking okay. They were looking unbeatable.
I just want to, did anyone here post anything on social media around or just after halftime? Because
I came out in the chat and said I wasn't going to say a word. So if that counts, then perhaps maybe I jinxed it. But I didn't say no comments. So
I think when you come out with that, I think we know what you mean. So
you're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
It's your fault again, silly.
Well, we looked like 2023 minor premiers for a bit there. I tell you that much.
We did.
So what happened?
Reece Walsh went off and they lost.
He wanted to come back on too, didn't he? Towards the end there, he wanted back in.
Certainly looked like it. I don't know what happened, Paul. I was spending my money. Maybe I did it. Maybe I jinxed it inside my own head. I didn't want to say anything out loud, but I was spending my money with 10 minutes to go.
Surly, how did it happen?
Oh, geez, I think it was just another example of when things go wrong, they go horribly wrong for the boys this year. We just can't respond to any kind of adversity. I thought it might have been different at home because our performances have been so good, but man, it's just so disappointing. For 75 odd minutes, we were by far the better team and then just fell apart. I tell you what, I've never left a wedding heartbroken, but I can tick that one off the box now. There wasn't much love in the air at my side of the table, that's for sure.
Well, I hope the vows weren't around the 78th minute. Otherwise, you might have jumped up and gone, no.
I tell you what, I got called out at the wedding again, and they said, hopefully no one's as gutted to be here as Surly is after the Wars performance. And then I looked at my menu and it said up the Wars. So I thought I was in for a real omen, and then, yeah, heartbreak.
Well, I guess, can we look forward to next season? That they've got a few more recruits arriving, certainly in the forward pack. They've got a whole lot leaving as well. At this early stage, how do you see next season going, Surly? Can you see them challenging for an top 8 spot?
Tell you what, not many things got me excited on Sunday. I think the ring of the door and the Uber Eats was about all. But then in my mind, I thought, geez, she's the off season and the boys are going to win the comp next year. So that got me firing again. I think they start preseason shortly, some of the lads. So no doubt a bit of head noise already starting to form. But I said it before, I love our recruitment for next year. I think everyone that's coming in is a real quality player. There was a few question marks. A few people didn't know much about Metcalf, but always been a big fan. And I think he showed on the weekend how good of a footballer he'll be when he gets some time in the saddle. So, yeah, I'm excited. I think just being based back at home, having our development pathways back in, new coach, 6 or 7 quality players coming into the mix. I think we'll be there or thereabouts for sure, but hopefully not some of this our year chat. We'll wait and see, but fingers crossed.
Before we move on from the Warriors, can I get you all three of your opinions on Golden Point? Good or bad? Shirley?
I like it. Obviously, we're on the wrong side of the ledger. We've won a couple in Golden Point this year, though. I think it's good. I don't rate draws. You get a result from it. It's exciting. When it goes your way, it's the best thing. When it doesn't, it's the worst. But I rate it.
Yeah, yep. I'm the same, Sully. I can't stand a draw. I think it's especially if you've been you've been the better team for the majority of the game, and then some things go against you, and it comes out happens to be a draw. I reckon Golden Point's it's got to stay.
Cal?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
Mixed emotions.
what?
I do like the result. I like getting a result, but I hate the continual cracks and field goals. The game. Those games where it's like that game of pool that just keeps going on, like the game of pool you and I had the other night.
Well, do you change it then, Carl, to I don't know, the first? It has to be a try or something in the first 5, or tinker with it a bit.
Go like the NFL.
Something like the NFL. Like if you take first crack at a field goal, then the other team gets a crack. Something like that, or try would be great. Something for a bit more excitement. But I do agree. You need a result, definitely. Can we just, before we move on?
Yeah.
Can we just go back to the Wires?
Yes.
And their first 12 minutes of play? Correct me if I'm wrong, boys, but definitely the minor premiers for the first 10 minutes of play across the year. That was, I feel like, when we scored all of our tries.
Yeah, no, I agree. 100%. Yeah. No, sorry for taking time, mate. Hey, I actually had the multi I tipped out last week, the same game multi. I was cashing it already. I had Dallin, Curran, Arthurs into Warriors 6+. So I mean, we were, you and me on the same page, Carl. We're ticking. We're looking at the premiers. The boys are crossed, counting cash, and once again, it wasn't to be. Like Paul has warned us many times this year.
I think that was the bad problem. Was Paul was all of a sudden a Warriors fan, and he brought that Bulldogs energy over with him, that Tigers energy as well. He's jumped ship a lot at the back end of the season, and it hasn't worked out well for whatever team he's got in on.
I can tell you now, he was mincing around the club rooms. Yeah, go the Wires, go the Wires. Oh, yeah, go the Titans, go the Titans. Love the Titans.
Oh, God.
So it's Paul's fault.
Well, next year I'll back against the Warriors every game. That should help.
That would be great.
Okay. All right. What were you saying about did you say something about the Warriors?
Yeah, they're the best team in the
For that
competition in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where we're going wrong. This is where we're going wrong. Hey,
If nothing else, we're consistent, Paul.
from the Warriors, let's drop down a notch or two. Let's talk about the Tigers. The Wooden Spoon Tigers. Down 42-0 at halftime at the hallowed grounds of Leichhardt on a Sunday, beautiful Sunday afternoon.
Oh.
That's got to be one of the lowest points in Tigers history.
Yeah, and we talked about how bad my Sunday was, and it got a hell of a lot worse, Paul. Look, I actually backed the Tigers. I thought, we spoke about it during the week, and then something that shouldn't be allowed. Like, this should be done 24 hours prior. Jack Whiten and Whitehead should not be allowed to get ruled out just before the game. We know Jack Whiten's the Raiders' record without Jack Whiten. They go to another level, and they did again. So, I'm CAB, money back. I don't know. But no, look, seriously, that was embarrassing. It really was. Especially when it's come out that they're not going to play any more games there because they can't get funding and it's not up to scratch. So that's it for Leichhardt Oval. And it's sort of a sad day that they go out and lose like that, and you never get to see a game there again with the Tigers in the near future anyway. So, yeah, not good, Paul. But lucky we got Puppy coming next year, and Uppy and the boys, they're all coming across. Joe Offa-Hungawi as well, extended for another 3. Big news. He's been probably their best player of the year. So they're looking up.
You mentioned the boys there. I saw you working on Roger for about half an hour in the bar on Saturday night. Is that another one that's a possibility to come across?
Well, funny enough, Surly, me and Roger are pretty good friends, and he said, he was coming back. I haven't seen him in a while, so he was coming back from NPC duties and said, I'll come out for a drink. So we went out, had a chat, and the Tigers might have been bought up, maybe a bit of money here and there. I said, look, mate, All Blacks aren't using you how they should be. You should be in there. Look at what they're doing, losing Argentina, blah, blah. You need to be in there. Said, Tigers, we appreciate people like you. Come on over, mate. We appreciate people like you. It might have been said. Something.
Well. You remember, if this does happen, you heard it first on the Advantage line. Hot off the press. I'm not saying that it's fair dinkum at the moment, but anything can happen when Blake starts, I guess, schmoozing at a bar. Very, very hard not to listen to what he says.
Tell you what, Paul, you can take any price you want with me that Roger Tuivasa-Sheck will go to the Tigers. You can have any price you want.
I think once he sat down Sunday Arvo and he was thinking about that convo, and then he watched the game and he thought, if the Tigers go all right, I'll consider it. And then when he heard the biggest roar from the home crowd was when they finally defended a set in the first half. I think he thought, maybe the Tigers aren't my team. I think Blake's done a number on me here.
Half the crowd left at half time, didn't they? Oh. They were that disappointed. That's just
Mr. Tarmow left at halftime, didn't he?
Oh.
Hey, semi-final football this week, though. Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, speaking of semi-final football, the Panthers will be hosting a game up there, out West Sydney, at the foot of the Blue Mountains. You guys okay with it being a smaller size stadium? And obviously they'll sell it out, but okay with it? But honestly, I think it's fine. You finish top, you deserve a home semi-final. But anyone on the negative side of that, thinking it should be taken to one of the biggest Sydney stadiums?
Not so much their game. I don't know how much they hold, but I do know they hold more than Shark Park. I'm a bit worried about the Shark Park sort of scenario. I don't know. Maybe these first rounds are okay. I think, though, if the Sharks or Panthers win through or even if they lose and get a home game next week, I can't see it being at Penrith Stadium or Shark Park. So that's my only problem. I don't think the NRL will allow it.
Yeah, I think it's only guaranteed for the first round, isn't it? The first round of the finals. And then after that,
the NRL would lose way too much money on things like that.
I think if they change it, they've got to set it out that they're doing it in the preseason, and maybe all finals games are at Allianz or whatever, just so that everyone knows. Because I think if you finish in the top, you deserve to play at that home ground. But if you know that it's going to be a weekend, all the teams are at the same place. It'll be interesting, though, because you might see some teams kind of jostle more for positions, who they'd rather play, because home advantage doesn't mean anything. So the last couple of weeks of the season could get a bit chaotic, but if you finish top, you should get it wherever you want.
Well, what about Allianz Stadium? I heard the other day, they cut half prices for the opening game the other night. $11 for a VB.
Yeah, they did a happy hour where it was $7.50. People couldn't believe it.
For a VB? Crazy.
Yeah.
$2.50 or something for a sachet of tomato sauce. What's happening? What's happening to this world?
Some guy put up a photo of a chicken roll. She was $18. I tell you what, that was rat meat. I'm calling it now.
Mate.
Well,
$18. Wow.
we're going to have to take the Advantage line on the road and just test out the facilities and the food and the hospitality at a number of these venues, just that we can give our listeners a detailed review of just how good or how bad things are at each venue.
Like that idea.
I'm sorry.
I've got no issue with Penrith's location of their thing. I've got an issue with Taylor May's suspension. Suspended suspension.
Yeah.
That is a joke.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you've done, suspended for a high tackle, suspended for whatever, you should serve your suspension in the next 2 games, not next year. That doesn't seem fair at all.
They may as well have not suspended him. I think it's just caused way more of an uproar. Obviously, it happened last year after the grand final. So if they were going to go down that route, then just don't suspend him. But I think we've seen it towards the back end of this year anyway. All suspensions they've handed out, everyone's been ironically available for the first week of finals. So it's pretty bizarre. You can't just give someone 2 games for next year.
I know they're on different scales of the spectrum, but do you feel Jack DeBellin, who's been proven innocent, that you've lost 2 years of wage, or, like I mean, I know different scales. Obviously, he pulled him down and there was different charges, but like he's now innocent where this player's guilty and they're giving him time next year. Like, that's my thing. There's a lot of, it's like the bunker and all those things. There is no consistency or line on where we can judge it.
Every time I hear of these suspensions, I just think of Isaac Luke and like how he would have played that grand final now. It's crazy. I feel so sorry for him. But
Johnny Lomax, he would have played his grand final. A bit early for you.
Go the Raiders.
I know who Johnny Lomax is. What was your biggest suspension, Blake?
I don't think I never got suspended, Carl.
Oh.
No. I was, I just played tough, but, just straight up the guts. Whatever happened on the field stayed on the field. That sort of jargon.
Yeah, one of the greats.
The Sea Eagles, they've been in all sorts since the rainbow jersey affair. And now what is Hasler staying? Is he on his bike? Are the Trebojeviches staying? Are they on their way? What's going on? Has anyone heard anything?
I saw a video from Channel 9.
Yeah.
Daly Cherry Evans and Tommy Trebojevic came out and they walked almost hand in hand across the park. Sat down with Danny Weidler, and it was the most awkward interview I think I've ever watched. And they seem to be happy enough, saying they're staying, and everyone loves Daly and everyone loves Des, and they're all fine. But I feel like we've read this book before, and where there's smoke, there's fire, right?
But there's used to be the old rumor back in the day, and like I said, rumor, like this is a rumor, but the older boys, the Stewart boys and those Watmow didn't usually get along with Cherry Evans either. They love Foran, love Kieran Foran, just weren't too fond of Cherry Evans. So that's all hearsay. But like you just said, Carl, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I don't think it's the first time that it's come up. So I'd stay the Trebojevic boys stay, though. But, something to keep an eye on.
Shirley, did you hear anything on Saturday night at the big VIP party that you were at? There would have been a few movers and groovers there. Surely you've got some oil for us.
Yeah, it was the rugby league. Everyone knows everyone kind of party, strictly invite. That's how Blake got me in as his +1, so really appreciative of that. But fair to say Manly wasn't on the topic of conversation, weirdly. I thought it definitely would be, but didn't pop up. But I just think if they lose those two, like if you think who is Manly, you think of the two brothers, DCE and Foran. Foran's gone. DCE, he seems to be pretty unpopular. And then if they lose the two brothers, and they're just starting from square one. So I don't think they can afford to lose them, and I can't see them going.
Right. At the beginning of the season,
yes,
we predicted the ladder. Surly didn't.
Surly wasn't here.
He wasn't here at the beginning of the season.
Still on a trial, training trial. At that point.
I was at Redcliffe working my ass off, just trying to get a gig.
To be fair, he's been signed to a lucrative deal now, so
Yes.
he's making up for it. But myself, Blake, and Carl made our own predictions for the ladder.
Yep.
And I think Carl's got the results.
I do. Everyone do this. It's not
I
pretty.
just saw them.
So, how are we going to do this? Let's start at the bottom. Tigers came last. Blake and I both picked the Tigers to come last.
Wow.
Paul had the Cowboys to come last.
Wow.
Yeah.
Close.
Then 15th, Warriors finished 15th. I had the Cowboys, Paul had the Tigers, Blake had the Knights. So none of us correct there.
Very close. Like,
Me
Sort
too.
of.
Yeah, Tigers. Yeah, close.
14th, the Knights. I had the Dogs. Paul had the Raiders, and Blake also had the Dogs. Incorrect. 13th, the Titans finished 13th. I had the Knights. Paul had the Warriors. Blake had the Titans, which you got right. So 2 for Blake. 12th, Bulldogs. I had Titans. Paul had Knights. Blake had Cowboys. So we all had the Cowboys finishing well outside the 8. So no one got that right. 11th was Manly. I had the Sharkies. Paul had Titans. Blake had the Broncos. No good there. This is where it gets good. 10th, the Dragons. I had the Dragons. Paul had the Broncos. Blake had the Raiders. 9th was the Broncos. I had the Broncos. Paul had the Dragons. Blake had the Bunnies.
Gee, I just had those two around the wrong way, so not far off, to be fair.
8th was the Raiders. I had the Rabbitohs. Paul had the Dogs. Blake had the Dragons. 7th is Bunnies. I had the Wars. Paul had the Eels. Blake had the Sharks. 6th, the Chooks. I had the Raiders. Paul the Bunnies. Blake had the Wars up at 6th. Started out.
early. Like that's early.
There. They should have been there. 5th, Storm. I had the Eels. Paul had the Sharks. Blake had the Panthers. 4th, the Eels are in 4th. I had Manly. Paul Storm. Blake Manly. 3rd place, Cowboys. I had Storm. Paul Manly. Blake Storm. 2nd place, the Sharkies. I had the Chooks. Paul the Panthers. Blake the Eels. 1st place, Panthers. I had the Panthers. Paul had the Roosters and Blake had the Roosters. So out of 16 teams, I got 4 in the right order. Blake got 2 and Paul got none.
It's all about getting teams in the top 8, though, to be fair. And
you did just that, Paul. You got 6 out of 8.
Yeah.
I also got 6 of 8.
Yeah.
And Blake got 5 of 8.
Yeah.
Certainly, I'd like to throw to you and get a sort of a grading, if you will, please.
Well, first off, straight off the bat, I can see why I got the call up. The results haven't been extremely impressive, have they? It looks a bit like my school report, not quite right, but close enough that will give you a pass mark. You mentioned Blake got 2 right. Those were both bottom 8, even bottom 4 teams. So it's clear he understands that end of the ladder, which is a tip of the hat to him. And he had the Warriors sitting in 6th, which always captures my heart. So I'd like to say well done to you there, Blake. I'll give you an A+ there, Blake, actually.
Thank you.
Clearly, you're the true Wars fan here. Carl, he got most correct, so he clearly understands rugby league footy, so you got to give him that. And then Paul, I think, the 0 correct just shows his inability to pick a team this year, stick with it, and bring them wins. So 6 of the 8 in the top 8, that's not bad. But, yeah, I think he had the Warriors the lowest of all of them, and that's a reflection of where he sits at the end of the predictions now. So
couldn't have said it better myself.
If I could just interject.
No, you can't.
We also made some futures bets at the beginning of the season.
Did we?
Yeah.
And I'd just like to go through them. Carl, Warriors to make the top 8.
At 360.
At 360.
Bonus back. We'll take it.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Manly.
Did I get my bonus bet for that?
No.
Oh.
Manly, top 4. $1.90.
No good.
Roosters to make the grand final.
Still alive.
Still alive at $3.26. Knights, wooden spoon at $11.
No good.
Mm.
Tupou, top try scorer. Johnston, top try scorer.
50 on at 11's pool.
No, 25. Because we wanted to
Oh, I
split.
split it. Sorry.
You and Blake wanted to split. 50's on it.
Back yourself. Back yourself.
I can't even remember these bits.
Are we sure Paulie's actually kept a track of them?
I don't know.
I
He's
went
doing-
through and double checked too. We've got them
Yeah.
written down here.
Oh, of course you did. Of course you did.
Blake, you got the Roosters to win the whole thing
There we
at
go.
$6. Still live.
Mm-hmm.
Eels top 4 at $3.80. No good.
Oh,
Fourth.
Oh, sorry, good.
Yeah.
Good.
thank
I
you.
meant to say good.
Yep.
Top point scorer, Lomax at $41.
What were you thinking here?
Yeah.
Xavier Coates, top try scorer at 10.
Oh.
Ronaldo and Willie Talo, top try scorer at $41. And New South Wales winning region at $1.33. Still live.
Yep. Yep. Hey. Getting there. Xavier Coates would have won that as well. But injury. Hurts.
I
I think Ryan Pappenhausen would have won that.
had the Dragons top 8. They finished in 10th place, not far out. I had the Sharks top 8 at $1.85.
That's good.
I had the Roosters minor premiership at $5.50. I've got the Roosters to make the grand final at $3.26, and Roosters to win at $6.
Still live, Paul.
Go the
So
top.
So we've all got one that's saluted come season end, and we've all got at least one still alive.
If you're interested, I had the Tigers to win the spoon. I had the Panthers to go back-to-back minor premiers. I had Nathan Cleary to miss 6 weeks, but then be ready for finals footy and overcome a parasite that's had the wood on them. I had AJ top try scorer, and I had the Warriors either 1st or 15th. So, yeah.
I think we've found out someone's got the inside oil from the bunker, from NRL headquarters. There's something dodgy going on. Let's have a look back last week. The last week of the regular season, Eels 22, Storm 14. Sort of a wee bit of shine taken off that game by the late withdrawal of Jerome Hughes. But Eels played very, very well, especially in the first half. Surely?
Yeah, I think we mentioned it on the flutter. Carl mentioned it, that the scoreline probably flattered them a bit more. I thought Para were all over them for the majority of that game, and a couple late tries kind of made the score look a bit more respectable. But yeah, I definitely think the Eels deserve to win. Just they're playing such good footy at the moment, which kind of makes you nervous for the future, but it's also exciting to watch when Dylan Brown and Moses are playing like that, and their forward pack, like we've been talking up Papali'i or Papali'i all year, but then you got your Sean Lanes, Regan Campbell-Gillard just killing it at the moment. So 3 consistent performances in a row from them has you a little bit worried about what to expect for this week. But yeah, I thought they were impressive, and I don't think Craig Bellamy would have been that happy with the performance from his boys, to be fair.
Bit rattling that you've just listed 2 ex-Warriors in great form for a finals team. Papa
Yeah,
Lee
look,
and
If you love something, let them go, and they'll come back, you know?
Oh. Is that something you heard at the VIP party on Saturday night, Surly?
Yeah, well, Blake was saying, look, IPAP's back, but we'll swap Rog for him any day of the week. And the boys were firing that on. So, yeah, that could be a future player trade. You never know.
Bulldogs 21, Sea Eagles 20. Are Manly the Warriors of New South Wales now?
don't lump the Warriors in with that rebel.
All right. Okay.
That'd be the most underwhelming thing of the season, wouldn't it? Their performances from where they were last year. I know no Tommy T, but you've still got Foran, Cherry Evans, Ola Kawatu, Dylan Walker, who's come to the Warriors. Still got a good forward.
Very good.
Still a very good team. So very underwhelming season for them.
Roosters Rabbitohs 26-16. A dead rubber in the end. But anything you can take out of that game that might point you towards what will happen this weekend?
Cam Murray going off so early is a bit disappointing. Who's the other one? Joe Manu injury,
Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. I saw initial reports were seasoned, but now it's 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if. It's an interesting one. I don't really know what to take out of this game, given it was a dead rubber. They both seem to be, they both seem to really want it, but
it's the bad thing of how many times have you seen teams play each other in the last round? Then the first week of the finals, the roles reverse. It happens so often. It's a omen sort of thing, and a bit wary of this game this week, just because of that result.
You?
I just think the Roosters roll on. I like the way they've been coached, and I think they've got enough cover to keep the train moving, to keep the momentum going. We'll see when we get to our bets. Warriors, Titans, 26-27 in Golden Point.
Play on.
Dragons, 22-12 over the Broncos.
Told you the Broncos were done.
You did.
Yeah.
Didn't see the game. Sorry, Paul. Can't comment.
We'll move on. Cowboys, 38. Panthers reserves, 8. Not much really needs to be said about that game. I wouldn't have thought it was. I guess the result that we expected with the team that the Panthers put out there. I think they still had enough players in their reserve grade team.
Yeah, they won. Their Jersey Flag boys went up and they won in the reserve grade finals. So that just shows the talent that they have at that club is crazy.
Night Sharks, 16-38.
Sharks had to win to get second.
They did.
That first half, they made tough work of it. Boy.
Yeah.
And then Tigers, they got double digits. They got 10 points in the end.
Close second half.
Yeah, what a second half.
Yeah, 14-10.
Close.
You usually hear that on a netball commentary. Oh, we won the third quarter, 6-5 or something,
If it was the Warriors, Carl would have had a creative stat for us just to boost morale again. So.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll have plenty of stats later on. Should we get to some previews? We usually do 3.
I'm just looking at the ladder. This is not good. Here's a stat, though.
Yeah.
Warriors, the worst defensive team in the season. Tough going. 700 points conceded.
Oh.
Who's next worst?
The Tigers. 679.
Crikey. And the Tigers gave up 56 on the weekend. Woo.
We had a tough match against the Storm earlier in the year.
Plenty to work on in the off-season for the Warriors then. Plenty to work on.
No, not this new team. They'll be all right. They'll be good.
Onwards and upwards.
There we go. We usually preview 3 games, but we might as well do all 4 this weekend. First game up Friday night at Panther Stadium. Panthers against the Eels. Statman, have you got anything for us in regards to that?
Yeah, Eels have won obviously 2 straight this season. Panthers had won the 4 prior to those 2. The last 10 have been split 5 apiece. The last 3 between these teams at Bluebet or Panther Stadium have been decided by 2 points, 2 points, and 1 point. The under has hit in 7 of the last 10. The average total points scored in the last 10 matches, listen up, 29.5. The total this week is set at 40.5.
I saw that. Crazy.
Average winning margin by either team in the last 10 is 10.7. However, 7 of those 10 were by 8 or less. And the Eels, not a bad strike rate at Panther Stadium, 41%.
Shirley, which way are you looking?
Oh, man, this is a tough one, to be fair. I just have this weird feeling that, well, it's probably not weird, that Nathan Cleary's just going to come back and just dominate. I think he's one of those players that wouldn't have just been sitting there with his feet up doing nothing. I think he would have been training the house down. And I think this is that kind of period where he goes through where he shows everyone that he is the best 7 going around at the moment. So I think he'll be massive for them. I think Penrith will know that Parramatta have had the wood over them over these past couple games, and they'll look to that as a real challenge. And then just at Bluebet, their record's so good. I know Para have been beating them this year, but it's going to be really tight, and I think it'll go unders again, like Carl mentioned. But I'll be going with Penrith. I just think that they might take things to another level this week with a bit of a chip on their shoulder. It's probably the only side that they could go in and say that they've been beaten by them. So,
Blake?
Yeah, I'm much the same. I think, look, I've got, it's good for my futures because as I think, looking ahead, the Roosters and Para lose this, they'll cross over to the other side, so Roosters and Para won't verse each other. So looking forward ahead, it's good for me if Parramatta lose, and I think that's how it's going to play out this week. Like Shirley said, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think rested Cleary, rested Luai, the players are there. That's what they needed after Origin and a big 2 years. So I think it's a close one, but I think that the boys from out west or out Penrith get up here.
Statman?
Hear me out, this might be a little bit weird, but I think it's probably advantageous for the Eels to lose this game. I can't see them winning out from here. If they lose, obviously go through next week anyway. They're just that, that weird team. They've been up and down, winning games when they shouldn't, losing games when they shouldn't all year. And I feel like they'll be better placed if they drop this game. Not to say they're obviously going to try and drop it, but I don't know. Like Surly, I think it'll be very tight. Unders, definitely. And it genuinely could go either way, but I think looking at the Penrith team, those ins, probably too strong.
I think the Panthers actually dropped this game last year to the Bunnies at home, didn't they? And then they went on to play each other in the grand final. So I think if Parramatta want to play Penrith in the final, then dropping it's the best option. Yeah,
That'll be a final.
Evil.
I do like the Eels plus the 8.5. I don't see too much in this game, even though the Panthers will be back to pretty much full strength. The Eels just seem to be able to stick with these guys for some reason. So I'm happy to take the 8.5 that's on offer and the handicap for the Eels. Second game, Saturday night, just after 7:30 New Zealand time, the Melbourne Storm take on the Canberra Raiders at Amy Park. Storm are fairly warm favourites here.
They've won 6 of the last 10. Raiders won earlier this year, but the Storm had won 5 straight prior to that. The under, again, has come up in 9 of the last 10 between these two. Average total points scored in those 10 matches, 36.4. The total this week, 43.5, so another big spread there. The average winning margin by either team in the last 10 is just a tick over 11 points. There's been 5 games resulted by 14 or more and 5 by 10 or less. The Storm have been on average 12-point favourites across the last 5 games, and they won 4 of those by a margin of 17. And as you said, the start this week, I think it's 9.5, is it?
9.5.
Yep.
That's me.
Shirley?
Yeah, I think the big one for me is, does Hughes play? Obviously, he's been named, but they say he's under a massive injury cloud. So it's one of those ones, do you roll the dice and play him, or look, do you hope that you've got enough to get through and you sit him? It's going to be a tough one. Raiders, they've won 7 of their last 8, and while some of them haven't been convincing, their last 3 or 4 weeks they've kind of stepped it up. So I think it's all fallen perfectly into Ricky Stewart's hands. He'll be doing the old no one expects us to win type of thing. The Raiders have the pack to take it to them up the middle, but you'd have to think Melbourne at home in finals footy, that probably gives them that advantage. But I think that line's huge. I see every game this week being really close, and I think this will be one of those. Oh,
Blake, the decision by the Storm last week to basically, I don't know, it didn't look like they were fully committed. I didn't think, certainly not in the first half, and that cost them a place in the top 4, which would have given them a life this week if they needed it. Now it's sudden death for them. How do you see it going?
I agree with you about the last week, Paul. I think Nelson Asafa-Solomona didn't touch the ball for the first 20 minutes, and that's sort of a telltale for that sort of side. I think resting Jerome Hughes last week was sort of the right option because, yes, they haven't – this is the first time, I believe, in I don't know how many years, a long time, they haven't finished in the top 4. So sort of uncharted territories. But I think they did the right thing because Jerome Hughes will play, I believe, because you can't rest him. You can't go into that and your season could be done. So, look, I think they win. I think they win comfortably, to be honest. The Raiders have had a good run, but I think the Storm, this is where they shine. It's this time. And Bellamy will get them up.
Statman?
Yeah, I'm siding with the Storm here. I think it might be a little bit tighter. As Shirley said, another tight one, but yeah, I'm taking the Storm here. I think they're just, as you said, Bellamy's too good. They'll be up. They don't lose twice, often.
I'm in the same playbook as Blake. I just look at the two coaches, Sticky v Bellamy. I know who I'd have. And I think this is the time of the year where that really, really does count. And I'm sure that Bellamy will have these boys up big time this weekend. So I think the Storm could win, and they could put a few points on the Raiders. Second game on Saturday night, third game of the finals, round 1, Cronulla Sharks up against the North Queensland Cowboys at Shark Park. This is the closest game according to the bookies. Sharks currently $1.70, Cowboys $2.11. Statman?
Bookies might have it wrong.
Oh.
Sharks have won 8 straight against Cowboys, and by an average margin of 15. That is concerning if you're a Cowboys fan. Sharks have won 9 of the last 11 at home against the Cowboys. The under has hit in 3 of the last 5, 6 of the last 10. Average total points scored in the last 10, 42.3. This week's total, 42.5. So I'll be steering clear of the total. Home team has been the favourite in 10 straight. The average point start in the last 10 has been 5.5. I think this week it's 2.5. Is that right?
2.5.
Yeah. Those are the stats.
Shirley?
Yeah, I hear that the home ground advantage tips me towards the Sharks, and I think what Carl just said really confirms that. But hearing Tommy Dearden last week say that he'd cut off the family jewels so he could play, it kind of put a bit of doubt into my mind. There's a bloke that wants to play some finals footy, but yeah, I'll be going Sharkies. I think it's going to be really tight. The average winning margin there had me a little nervous at 15, but I think it's going to be under that. And I expect it to be a good game, but Shark Park will be the difference.
Blake,
Yeah,
you've played there.
Yeah, not too well, might I add. Not too well at all. But yeah, I think I'm going for the Cowboys in upset. I love this team. I love the way they play footy. I reckon Toddy's got them rolling. They're so young, and it's like they're just carefree. And you've got Townsend at the helm just really orchestrating, and Robson at hooker doing his job. I think they go there and cause a bit of an upset. The Sharks get their extra chance, yep. But look, I know Kennedy's got to do a lot of running at fullback. He hasn't been there for the last month and a half. It's a hell of a lot of running. Is Talakai 100% fit to play? These are all questions that need to be asked. So I think they go there and do a job. And just whilst skirting around there, good initiative by the TAB to keep the top point scorer and the top try scorer going. Found a little gem, you know. If you like, you think the Cowboys will go far in the competition, Jeremiah Nanai, $31 to be top try scorer for the final series. So if you think, you know, where did he finish? Top 5, I believe, in the top try scorers for the year?
3rd or 4th, I think.
Yeah, so, you know, he's up there. You reckon the Cowboys, they get another chance? Usually when he scores 1, he scores 2. You might only need 4 for the final series, and you know that $31 could be nice and juicy at the end.
Wouldn't be an advantage line without a shout out to the Undertaker.
Blake. Wow, we're throwing out a $31 shot. Statman?
I'm going to stick with the stats and say that Sharkies win by 15 or more. Yeah.
Whoa.
Basing that just on the stats because I can't really get a read on this game. Do you think, Blake, Chad Townsend's experience playing at Shark Park will help the Cowboys?
Yeah, I believe so. And he's been there with final series experience as well. So it's not like he's just been there. Like he would know. And we spoke about. I sent an interview with Toddy Payton as well, and said he sort of lets him do what he wants and does the talking a lot of the time as well, Townsend. So I reckon he have a big influence this week. I think you're right, Carl.
How about you?
Give me the Sharks. Give me the Sharks with the buy of the year, Nico Hines. Dale Finucane not that far behind. Final game of round one of the finals. It's a repeat of last week. The Roosters up against the Rabbitohs at Allianz Stadium. Roosters $1.58. Rabbitohs $2.30 currently. Stat man.
Bunnies have won 4 of the last 5, 6 of the last 10. Overs hitting 5 of the last 7 and 6 of the last 10. The average total points scored in those 10, 40.3. This week, 42.5. Only 2 games in the last 10 have been decided by less than 10 points. The average winning margin by either team is 19. It's in the last 10 games. The average winning margin by either team dating back to 2009, 23 games, is 15.7, with only 7 of those games coming by a single-digit margin.
Surly?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a heck of a game. We mentioned Joey Manu's out. Tupou's been named, but apparently he's 50-50. And then Jared Warrior-Hargreaves, he might not be available to play as well. Then you look at the Bunnies, they get back your Cooks, your Campbell Graham, your Jai Arrow. So, look, you'd have to think maybe that the better side on paper could be the Bunnies. I was listening to Cooper Cronk talk earlier in the week, and he just said how the Roosters played the perfect game to control Latrell, putting up high kicks, trapping him in corners. But he thinks that the Sunday Arvo time slot will help Latrell, and that Bunnies back 3 kind of nullify the effect of that. He reckons it's easier to do it at night time, and Latrell might put out a bit of razzle-dazzle in the Arvo. So, I don't know. This is going to be a heck of a game. Blake mentioned that often you see the side won the week before go on to lose in the first round, but I'll go with the Roosters. They're hot to trot at the moment. But again, I reckon all these games really close. So, we'll see.
Blake, did you ever play in a couple of games like that where you won the week just before the playoffs and then lost to the same team in the first round of the finals?
No, I didn't, Paul. A lot of the times I didn't make the final, so I was never a chance to actually, play them the next week. But no, the few times I did, never got that chance. But I've seen it plenty of times. Even it takes me back to the Parramatta Dragons. When it used to be first, 8th. Parramatta played them, got beat by 30, come out week 1, and 8th beat 1. So, look, this game scares me. Sure it does, because I mentioned about how I want the Roosters to win, so Para and the Roosters crossover can meet in the GF. It all goes. It's all in my head. It's how the finals are going to run out. But I'm going to go with my heart. I'm going to go the Roosters. I really thought the odds would be a bit closer. I thought, I thought it was $1.58. The Roosters, I thought was, a little light. So look, the Roosters just, and I'm saying that it could be toss of a coin. I'm worried.
That man will give us a definitive answer here.
Sure won't, Paul.
Right.
Sure won't. I've got no idea on this game.
Yeah.
Back to Bunnies last week. Again, I didn't really know. Chooks proved how good they're going, but like everyone said, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bunnies turn this one around. And Damien Cook coming back is a big in for them. I guess it depends if those injured guys start for the Roosters, if they play Warrior-Hargreaves. I just don't know.
Just going back to Blake and his crossover and was it Parramatta meeting the Roosters in the final. The last time I saw something on social media, the last time Parramatta won a premiership was, I think, 86, when Top Gun was the number 1 box office hit, the movies. And
Wow.
2022 Top Gun, number 1 box office hit at the movies. So there's a little bit of there's a trend there if you want to follow it, Blake. The Eels.
Well, Paul, if you follow the NBA as well, Golden State Warriors have won their titles when Kendrick Lamar, the rapper, brings out an album. Bought another one out this year, and Golden State Warriors won. So your trend could be right on, my friend.
Here we
Be
go.
right on.
There you go. Just quickly, I think I saw no side has won the comp from outside the top four since Bulldogs did in 95, so 27 years ago. Do you think this is the year someone could? You've got the Storm, the Bunnies, the Roosters all outside that top four? Because for me, it seems like this is the closest final series we've had in a very long time.
Definitely.
We've definitely got a couple of teams outside the top 8 who, when you look back, you think, oh, gee, they had a tough run. They got injuries at the wrong time. Outside of that, they probably make the top 4. So if there was going to be a year where that curse was broken.
Tell you what, if you like the Bunnies this week, have a look at the outright winner market. You can get them for $20 to win the comp. If they win this week, they're a red hot chance.
Yeah. And Paul, you're right. It could happen this week. It happened in fantasy this year. Someone come from 7th to win it. So it's there's a theme here, Paul. There's a theme.
Play on.
Is that why you were drinking Moe on Saturday?
He was using my money. Unbelievable. He started the season with no halves. This is ridiculous. He scraped and scrawled. I just can't keep an eye on fantasy as much as Blake. He picked up free agents willy-nilly, stacked his team, and he got through in the end and then came away with the win. Thoroughly deserved it too. Cal, did you make the 8?
Hey, this is a real rugby league podcast.
Okay, all right.
There's rumors. There is rumors. Blake sent through his screenshot of him winning to old Tim Sheens, though, put it on his CV and said, look, if you need to know how to build a roster and come from the bottom and claim it all, then I'm your man. So
still on scene.
On scene.
As well as Nofaluma.
And RTS. Blake, you can get there's a double chance, NRL double chance market. Eels or Roosters to win the comp at 420.
Oh, now you're talking. Carl.
In fact, there are some really, really good options in the outright futures markets for the finals.
There are.
You mentioned the top try scorer. You said Nanai because you thought the Cowboys might go deep. I guess if you think the Bunnies are going to go deep, Alex Johnston at $21. That's the worst.
Wow.
I can't take him because I don't think the Bunnies are going deep. But if you do think they can go deep into the playoffs, $21 on the guy who was daylight ahead of the second best in the top try scoring market during the regular season.
You can get Xavier Coates at $10, which, Blake, I think you took at the start of the season.
Yep.
You go play 4 games, 5 games. Same price.
And the team's 5th to 8th, they're going to play. They have to play every game.
Yep.
They won't get a rest.
Yeah, Xavier Coates is not to bed.
I thought Blake might be looking at his Clive Churchill winner for top try scorer.
Blown out, $3. Back to 21s.
Where is he? I can't even.
He's at 21s now, just off the.
Dylan Edwards, yeah.
Yeah, still can't see him. Where is he?
Clive Churchill's down the bottom, mate.
No. I'm talking about top try scorer. Where is my good friend Tedesco? Tedeschi.
Let's go.
Tedeschi. Tedesco.
36s.
36. That's why I couldn't find him. I didn't scroll down the page far enough. Wow.
The state of it.
Teddy Tedesco.
Come on, let's give some advice, some betting tips.
Well, should we look back at last week first?
Oh, yeah.
It was horrible, wasn't it?
We can just run through it quickly if you like. Surly's overtaken me back for second again, which is disappointing. He's almost caught Blake. So Blake's still leading, 1,162.
I don't know how.
Surly, 1,153. Myself, 864.50. Paul's still languishing in last, 413.50. Blake lost 95 last week. I lost 250. I don't know how that happened.
94.
Paul made 85. And Surly made 78. She's pretty tough.
Check it. I have to check it. I thought I lost every leg.
Oh.
Must have won somewhere.
Well, what does it say?
Happy to check it again.
What?
I'll take it. I'll take it, though.
What was his best bet?
Warriors.
Well, that lost.
Anchor. Storm -3.5. Lost. Ruffy. Lost. Josh Cohn first try scorer.
Got second. Should money back.
Yeah.
Total. Warriors. Titans under 48.5.
He lost everything.
Lost. Winning team and margin.
That must be where I want it.
Got the Roosters 1-12.
There you go.
The two.
Lost the other two. Yeah, there you go.
Beauty.
So what did he make? Nothing.
No, he lost 95.
Oh, yeah. I'm with you. That doesn't seem like. Seems like he should have lost a lot more.
Yeah, I think so too, Paul.
Yeah.
That's all right. Hey, move on. Like we said, short and sharp.
that.
Moving on.
I will have updated figures next week. Don't worry about it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, once you've finished with that salary cap audit of all teams above 15th, chuck that one in there, boy.
Oh, and don't forget, all those punters who qualified in the Warriors top 8 promotion got their bonus bet on Monday.
Yeah.
So there's something to spend on this week's NRL if you want, or anything else
I presume Sealy's already put his on the Warriors to win
next season.
2023.
Yeah. Straight back on. 6 more.
Blake's done the same thing with his on the Tigers. Should we get to this week then?
Let's do it.
We'll go to best head-to-head, and we'll start with the guy at the top of the table, Blake Ashford.
Paul, nice and simple, nice and easy. Surly, can you give me one? Penrith Panthers, $1.39.
Oh,
Can you give me a, there we go. What I wanted.
there we go.
Well, can you give us your bet now, Surly?
Yeah, disappointingly, I went with the Storm, and Thunderbolts aren't my specialty in terms of noise. So, yeah, I hate to bore you, but I went with the Storm.
It's Flappy Bird.
Jeepers. Mike, is it too late to change off the back of that? That was worrying. Yeah.
Statman?
What a game. Did you ever play Flappy Bird?
No. What is it?
You boys must have.
Yeah. Paul's
Yeah,
still
that's
trying to find his DMs.
All right, Statman, your best head-to-head.
I'm going with the stats. They don't lie. Sharks, $1.70. They won 8 straight versus Cowboys, so give me some of that.
All right, I'm sticking with the team that's made me a bit of money this year. Roosters, head-to-head, $1.58. I'll take them. Your best multi-anchor, Blake.
Best multi-anchor. I've got the Storm, the alternate line, -5.5 at $1.53.
I got the Sharkies 1-12. I'm also back in the stats.
Multi-anchor. Under 43.5 in the Storm vs Raiders at $1.85.
Multi-anchor, I'm going Eels plus 8.5 at $1.90. Your best total, Blake.
I'm following Carl's anchor, so I'm going to go the Storm under 43.5 at $1.85.
I went the Panthers 3-way total under 36, $2.70.
See what you're doing here, and I don't like it. You caught on to what I've been doing the last few weeks because I've got the exact same bet.
Well, you're not going to catch us early then, are you?
Panthers Eels under 3-way total under 36 at $2.70.
Didn't edit the run sheet again, did I?
I'm going the Sharks Cowboys game, and the Cowboys biggest total against any of the top 8 teams away from Queensland has been 18. That's the most points I've scored in a game against one of the top 8 teams away from Queensland. I'm taking the Cowboys under 19.5 at $1.85. Your best roughie, Blake.
Well, none of you will like this one, but it's a halftime, full-time margin. The Cowboys to be leading 5 to 8 points at halftime. Cowboys to win the game between 5 and 8 points. $36.
Oh,
Wow.
He is off and running.
That comes in. There's no way we're catching him.
Yeah, I don't know why I picked mine on reflection because I have the Panthers to win, but I went Para 1 to 12 and under 41.5 at $6.50.
It's a roughie. That's why you picked it. I've gone. What have I gone? Sharks and the winning team and margin 10-point bracket. Sharks 11 to 20 at $5.
I'm going Storm to win by 13 or more and under 43.5 points, $5. Best your winning team and margin now for the Panthers Eels, Blake.
Panthers 1 to 12. $2.88.
Same.
That's 3.
That's 4. Never really works out for us when we do this.
Oh, that means my roughy's coming in, boys. You beauty.
Storm Raiders, Blake.
Storm 13 plus, $2.20.
Storm 1 to 12.
Storm 1 to 12, $3.
Storm 13 and over, $2.20. Sharks Cowboys.
Cowboys 1 to 12, $3.40.
Sharks 1 to 12.
Sharks 13 plus, $3.40.
Sharks 1 to 12 at $3.10. And the final game, Roosters Rabbitohs.
Bit of your heart, bit of your head, bit of your head, bit of your heart. Roosters 1 to 12. Don't know the price.
$3.
Yeah, I have the same, but then I've just seen the Roosters have been put on a booze ban, which never ends well in my experience. That has me a little nervous. I'll stick with them, but I tell you what, let the boys have the beers. They play better footy.
I'm a bit nervous with what I've written down here, but I'll stick with it because you can't. Roosters 13 plus at $2.88.
No.
I'm going Roosters 1 to 12, $3.
Are we all in the Roosters?
We are.
Well,
Yep. Now, earlier today, Carl was telling me that his multi got up last week, his oval ball multi.
Did Paul at $14.11 or something like that.
I don't remember it getting up. I'll have to check the tapes.
Oh,
What happened there?
We got two
We've
Blakes.
got dual Blakes. This is huge.
Something just dropped out.
Oh, look, we've got a frozen Blake and a tired Blake.
Yeah, so that's what I was seeing. The frozen one just must have dropped out.
This is going to look great on YouTube. I'm just pulling up my run sheet from last week, Paul.
Yeah. I'm not sure this is what you said, though.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
I'm just explaining how my multi.
You missed one leg, I'm pretty sure.
My multi-buster, oval ball multi-buster, multi got up last week. Had the under 43.5 in the Eels Storm game, under 43.5 in the Bunnies Chooks game, under 57.5 in the Warriors game, and the Dragons head-to-head at $14.11. Tick, 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 tick.
Oh, some of those lines were close, but that's a huge result.
It's the stat man. Stats.
Exactly.
Well, do you want to give us an oval ball multi for this week?
Sure, I've lost my page now. Yep. Penrith Eels under 40.5. Melbourne Canberra under 43.5. Sharks head-to-head. Roosters head-to-head. $9.19. It's 4 legs, Paul. Did you hear them all this week?
Blake, you got one?
Yeah, all mine are halftime, full-time doubles. I've got the Panthers, the Storm, the Cowboys, and the Roosters all to be leading at halftime and full-time, $13.
Shirley, probably got a wicked wingers or a family pack or a deluxe quarter pack.
Yeah, look, I had to go back to the drawing board after the deluxe quarter pack didn't come through. I had my sights set on that one, but I've gone with the meat and 3 veg, not your 2 veg, because there's 4 games. So you got to have the 3 veg. Nothing exciting. Always fills you up though. So I went all the home sides to win 1 to 12. He's paying $80.
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
We've lost Paul.
Wow.
But I borrowed a veg off Tommy Dearden and I've chucked it in meat and 3 veg.
Yeah, I've got one as well.
A veg or?
Not from Tommy Dearden, no. I've got the Eels plus 8.5. Storm to win by 13 and over. Jesse Ramian to score a try. And under 7.5 tries in the Roosters Rabbitohs game. That's $21.10.
We've lost Surly now.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I'm still here, but
he's still there.
yeah, you can't see me.
Well, Carl, you can give us a same game multi.
Penrith to win under 33.5 and Crichton to score $10.
Blake?
I've gone same game. Not the same game, that in that exact same game as Carl. I've gone Brian To'o, Dylan Edwards, and Ryan Mattison all to cross for a try, $26.
I've also got a same game, but not in the same game, a different game. I've gone with the Storm Raiders game, unders 44.5, Munster and Hughes to score. Oh, Munster and Hudson Young to score, $18.
Nice.
Hughes just scores now. You've named him his score.
Yeah.
Just.
I've also got a same game, and it's in the same game as Surly.
Hey.
I've gone Munster, Brandon Smith, and Nofoaluma all to score a try, $15.
Oh, make the Storm noise, Paul. That's coming in now. That's coming in. Get on that.
We should probably get out of here.
Yeah, please.
This is deteriorated. It's like we're working in the bunker. No one has no idea what's going on. Our good friend from Papamoa Beach, Blake, thanks again for joining us this week.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks for stepping down from the VIP stage on Saturday night to come back and talk to the little people like us.
Yep.
Carl, thanks for joining, even though you were heartbroken after the result at Mount Smart Stadium on Saturday.
Told you, mate. Professional.
And thanks to you guys for listening to us, and wish everyone happy punting over this first week of the NRL Finals. Some great matchups, and hope to see you back next week when we'll have another edition of The Advantage Line.